I'm a qualified EMT1 and ambulance driver. When do I start?
Okay, this is the Veinlite LCD by Translite. It is a vein illuminator that's handheld so that you can look at veins. This is the LCD version. The LCD version actually has a few differences from the EMS version. I'm also going to be doing a video of that one. But the big difference is that it's self-contained. It has its own battery pack built into it. So you just plug in a power thing and it recharges. What the Veinlite does is it illuminates veins by shining a light in the middle of this circle. And the LCD, another difference between it and the EMS version, is that it has two lights. It has an orange light and it has a red light. So you can use the orange or you can use the red. The red is intended to be used with darker skinned people and for deeper veins. So those two things would influence. You can turn them both on too and it just doubles up the light. This thing does have twice as much light output as the EMS version because of that. But it's also a little, more complicated to use. I don't know. Yeah, it has two switches, and you do kind of have a tendency to make this mistake where you grab it like this, because that's kind of the way you want to grab it. And then you go to squeeze, but you end up pushing on both sides at the same time, and you get both lights on, and you're kind of like, I got both lights on. Well, I did do it that time. But I have done it where they both come on, and that wasn't really what you intended to do. And one thing you may be thinking is, I don't want to rub this on people all over the place and then like go take it to the next room. Gotta have some BSI going on here. So it comes with a bunch of these, which are little Veinlite covers. No, I won't say the other C word. But, so to protect your Veinlite, you put this little thing on it, and it goes on fairly tightly. Put that down in there. Covers up all of that, right? And then you take this part, there's a little flap here, and you grab it and you pull it down and flip it over, and boom, now it's covered. Still got controls for your lights and everything, so there is that. Now I'm actually going to show you how this works, and to do that I'm going to have to get into dark mode on my cameras. Alright, so I actually didn't have to get as dark as I anticipated getting, but this is the Veinlite, and this is my arm. I am easy. You could poke me, matter of fact, that's where I got poked yesterday, just as a demonstration. And it's pretty easy to find my veins, so at least you'll know that it's showing what it says it's showing. So with the Veinlite, what you do is you take the Veinlite and you turn it on. Maybe we should do the red since I have such dark skin. Not really. And they're so deep. Again, not really. So we're going to go with the yellow light. And what you do is you go across like this. You don't, you don't go like this. A lot of people, I think, they think that should be because you got this opening like that. But the problem is, see right there, you've got kind of a shadow. Now, is that a vein or is that a shadow? What is it? It's hard to say. But if you go across, then that shadow is going one way and the veins are going another. And so what they say to do is to go across your arm until you see a vein. So we're going along. Wow, there's a vein right there. You see it? Put my arm in a different place. Okay, so there's a vein. And once you find one, you can actually trace it. And you've got a little bifurcation going, it goes off in that direction. Down there. Okay, so you can see that. Here's another one. That's huge vein. You can follow it. Wow, all the way down my arm. So let's go back up to where we were. We were about here. There's that one. There's a little one. So you can trace this little one going along right there. Okay, come on around. Another big one right there at a bifurcation. Get this one kind of going down. Where's that bifurcation? There it is. And then you got a little one coming off of it, and you can trace that as well. So see, it's pretty easy to find veins, But just because you can find a vein, newbies, doesn't mean you can hit it. So that was my review of the Veinlite. Kind of showed you it. I got it right here. I would say I carried this light on my last ER shift, and actually in the ER shift before that too. And it does help you find veins. Does it help you find difficult veins? To some extent. I had a 14-year-old girl that I had to do an IV on, and I missed, even though I saw it here. My preceptor ended up actually finishing that IV because I was missing, but he knew it was there. And he was kind of looking for it by feel, not like palpation, which is what what my program at least teaches us. And I did palpate the vein. I mean, I don't use this like, oh, there it is. Now I've seen it. Now I know where to poke. Sometimes I'll palpate first and then use the light to confirm that what I'm looking at is really a vein. And sometimes I'll look at the vein and then I'll go palpate for it. In her case, she couldn't feel anything anywhere, even with the tourniquet on. It's not a tourniquet, the vasoconstricting band on. So just because you can find the vein doesn't mean necessarily you can hit it. And I was talking to my preceptor afterwards, and he was telling me what I was doing wrong with my things. I was going too fast. He's like, I don't know what is it with you guys, but you're like, go, and you go, tsk. And I'm like, oh, I didn't think I was going, tsk, but I thought I was going, kind of quick, because I want to get through the skin so it wouldn't hurt them. And he said, no, you got to go smooth. You got to get in there smooth. So I tried smooth next time, and didn't work with that much better. I had an older woman, as soon as that needle hit that skin, the skin started moving, and that's with me like gripping it and pulling it tight to start with. And then she started screaming in pain, and it was not pretty. I didn't really like that part. So to say that all that the Veinlite works, it shows you where the veins is, and it might even be a good learning tool to have, just because you can kind of trace out veins on your arm and get an idea for where things are and how veins work. How they like split off and they're not straight and they have a tendency to move around, and you can kind of see all of that with a Veinlite, with your own veins and with other people's veins. And so it is cool that way. It's cool as an educational tool. It's cool to help you find veins visually, and it is a tool to better do your IVs. But the fact is, at least for me, it's not finding the vein that's necessarily the reason I'm still at about 50%, sometimes a little under 50% on my hits, on my IVs. There's just something you have to have experience doing to get the needle in the vein. And it was also interesting when I was talking to my preceptor about it, and he's been doing it for like 18, 19 years. So I'm like, tell me, what's the secret? What is the secret? Well, there is no secret. The secret is that after 18 or 19 years, you start knowing how to do this stuff. And you do it by feel. He said, I could feel it go into the vein, and I knew I was in there, or I knew I was almost in there, or I'd started hitting the vein, but I wasn't all the way in yet. I don't feel nothing. Whether I hit it, I miss it, I feel it go through the skin, I don't feel any difference as that goes on in. And I think that's just an amount of time you have to spend doing this over and over again to where you start getting a feel for it as it goes through the different layers of tissue, whether it goes to the skin and the subcutaneous tissues and then into the veins. And so you kind of get a feel for that. So that's my review of the Veinlite. It's really cool. I haven't used it on the ambulance yet. I'm going to go be doing an ambulance shift, and I'll take it with me. My hit rate on the ambulance is much lower, or at least it was this summer, much lower than it is in the ER, which is where I've done my 2 clinical shifts so far.
This is it, like the bill. Finally got your chance.